Russia's ambitions of dominance are faltering, but a crucial factor remains. Picture a revitalized Ukraine, determined and equipped, pushing Russia back to its borders. Yet two pivotal voices among the world's strongest allies might hold the key to ending this conflict on Ukraine's terms. The outcome could redefine Europe, with Russia's future hanging in the balance. Now let's hear from General Ben Hodges, who clearly articulates the stakes involved. He offers a straightforward perspective on what Ukraine truly needs and identifies the gaps that must be addressed to secure a decisive victory over Russian forces. Pay close attention, this insight could alter the trajectory of the entire conflict.
Key to victory would be the U.S. government and the German government both saying that it is in the strategic interest of the United States and Germany that Ukraine successfully defends all of its sovereign territory and pushes Russia back to the 1991 borders. That would be the key to victory, because then that would open up the possibilities for policies that would provide Ukraine what it actually needs, instead of this nonsense about we're with you for as long as it takes, because nobody believes that anyway. I was encouraged that President Biden yesterday used the words to help Ukraine win. So that's progress, but he still stopped short of providing what's actually needed. And I think Ukraine has been very clear about what they need. And I think it's important that they also make it clear that not only does Russia have no real interest in any sort of meaningful negotiations right now, Ukraine doesn't have interest in those kinds of negotiations. Why should they give away Crimea or the eastern part of their country? There's no benefit to Ukraine if they do that.
After outlining the requirements for true victory, our analyst delves deeper, this time shifting focus to the strategy Ukraine has crafted. Despite some uncertainty among Western leaders, Ukraine isn't standing still. They've developed a plan that demonstrates their resilience and confidence in their capacity to halt Russia's advance.
Even though the U.S. government has failed to clearly identify what our strategic objective should be, the Ukrainians have laid out, I think, a plausible way ahead for what's needed, what's required. And of course, the plan is not just asking the West for stuff. It lays out an approach, or it makes clear that Ukraine knows that Russia is not unbeatable, that somehow Russian victory is not inevitable.
It's evident that Western strategic support and logistical strength are vital for Ukraine's ongoing resistance. Now, let's focus on the front lines, where Ukraine has established a formidable presence that could lead to a significant shift in the battlefield dynamics around the strategic KSK region. This is more than just a defensive posture. Ukraine is positioning itself to trap Russian forces, which could have serious repercussions for their operations. In recent days, Ukrainian troops and equipment have concentrated in the critical area near the town of Novoyanka. This location is strategically significant as it serves as a crossroads. Controlling Novoyanka gives substantial leverage over northern access points. Ukrainian forces are not merely fighting for territory, but for a strategic advantage in the broader conflict. Recently, Ukraine deployed elite units, including the 47th Brigade, to strengthen their positions and create a tactical pocket around Russian troops. This maneuver echoes tactics Russia previously employed against Ukraine on the Eastern Front, aimed at encircling Ukrainian units. However, Ukrainian forces have been quicker and more prepared, effectively countering Russian maneuvers as they attempted to advance toward Novoyanka. Although the Russian army achieved some early success by briefly occupying parts of the village, Ukraine responded decisively, launching a counterattack that pushed most Russian troops out of the area. Currently, Ukrainian forces are strategically positioned on both sides of this crucial crossroads, poised to strike again. The presence of Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance units in the gray zone, an area lacking clear control, heightens the tension. These units have been steadily advancing, securing small but meaningful footholds around Russian positions. Ukraine is clearly intent on preventing Russian forces from establishing a stronghold in Novoyanka while maintaining momentum for a possible larger counteroffensive. The implications of maintaining control over Novoyanka are significant. It would not only deny Russian forces essential access, but also allow Ukraine to dictate movements and reinforcements along the northern front lines. A successful counteroffensive at this stage could decisively cut off Russian troops in the area from vital supply lines, forcing them to retreat or face encirclement. Moreover, controlling this crossroads would enable Ukraine to better secure northern routes, complicating Russian reinforcement efforts. The tactical advantages are crucial. Russian media and military observers are closely monitoring developments, with many acknowledging that the situation around KSK isn't unfolding as Moscow had anticipated. Russian telegram channels, often critical of their command when issues arise, have already raised alarms about Ukrainian forces closing in and potentially launching a significant assault soon. Russian commanders are now scrambling to fortify their defenses, but with Ukrainian forces holding a geographical advantage, Russia's position in KSK appears increasingly precarious. If successful, Ukraine could capitalize on this momentum to push further north, though this remains ambitious given current resources. Still, the Ukrainian armed forces have shown a remarkable ability to achieve strategic gains with limited means. Hopes for reinforcements from Western allies are high, especially with winter approaching. A strengthened Ukrainian front in this region could shift momentum in their favor, preventing Russia from consolidating control in key contested areas. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Ukrainian forces have been regaining ground in the town of Tokmak. Their methodical reclamation of several buildings demonstrates their tactical precision and resilience in the grueling environment of urban warfare. These advances around KSK and other hotspots showcase Ukraine's readiness to exploit any opportunity to counter Russian gains. However, new geopolitical pressures are emerging, including reports of North Korean troops arriving in Russia for training exercises. While the details of their involvement remain unclear, this indicates deepening alliances that pose new challenges for Ukraine and its Western allies. In the broader context, cracks are appearing in Russia's international standing. Hungary's Viktor Orban, for instance, has faced backlash for obstructing EU support to Ukraine. Despite his efforts, the US and Europe have coordinated a new aid package using frozen Russian assets, reinforcing Ukraine's position without additional taxpayer costs. The strategic importance of these developments cannot be overstated. Ukraine's near-term actions in the KSK region and other frontline locations will directly influence their ability to resist Russian advances and reclaim occupied territories. Every tactical move, from securing the Novoyanka crossroads to regaining urban centers like Tokmak, forms part of a comprehensive strategy Ukraine has developed over recent months. As the situation evolves, the outcomes of these battles will likely determine the strength and security of Ukraine's front lines as winter approaches, bringing more logistical and operational challenges for both sides. The KSK region is more than just another battlefield. It is a critical linchpin in Ukraine's northern defense and a potential launching point for counterattacks that could fundamentally change the dynamics of the conflict. With Russian forces now on the defensive and their initial offensive stalling, Ukrainian troops are poised to take decisive action. If you find these updates valuable, please like and subscribe to stay informed on the latest developments from the front lines. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective is important. Thank you for supporting our channel and stay tuned for further updates on Ukraine's remarkable resilience.